Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, I would like to tell you guys a true story about the time when I got shot. The story starts for me when I was in 10th grade. I wanted to go into the Army. I wanted to go into the Army because my father was in the Army. So I wanted to be just like my dad. I walk like him, I look like him, I talk like it. So when I was in the 11th grade, I dropped out of school. I got a GED the first time. And when I turned 18, I signed to go into the Army Reserves. And so on November the 4th, 1982 was my first day at basic training in Fort Dix, New Jersey. And while I was at Fort Dix, New Jersey, I was in Charlie Company. In my company, I had 2 black male sergeants, and that was a big strike against us. And also in Charlie Company, there was 2 girls that looked like dudes. That was another strike against us, and I happened to be the number 1 dude. So it would come times for inspections, and I'll tell you guys now, I was never present, and we passed an inspection. Never happened. If I was there, it's not going to happen. So, in basic training, when it came time for inspections, the lieutenant and the captains would come up and went to my bay area, and they would fail me every time. So if I fail, the whole platoon fails. So it got so that the sergeants would make me sit down and let the rest of the girls do my bay area, buffet, do my locker. I just sit and watch. And so the next day when the captains and the lieutenant come and they walk up to me, we still fail. So the next thing they do is they send me to medical. Every time it's time for an inspection, they send me to medical. So by the time medical is over with and I come back, we just go about our day. So I go to medical, I tell them my foot hurt, and they give me some medicine, I go put it in the locker, we go about our day. That didn't help. One time, they actually failed, and I wasn't there. But that's because we had 2 black male sergeants. So, also in basic training, that's where I fell in love. Now, you guys, I was in Charlie Company, and I fell in love with someone that was in Bravo. She was a drill sergeant in Bravo Company. If anybody knows about basic training or anything, there's no reason that maybe when we're out there exercising, but there's no reason that I would have to be in contact with this sergeant for Bravo Company. I'm in Charlie Company. So how we fell in love, even started talking, when I say fell in love, how we started talking to each other and things like that. Even in basic training before I got to AIT, I honestly can't remember, don't know how it happened. But that was the case. I was talking to a sergeant from Bravo Company. The entire time I was in AIT, love letters, back and forth. I remember one time I got paid and the paycheck was like $300 or whatever. That's a lot of money back then. And that's how much it cost just to send some red roses. And I remember doing it. AIT love letters, back and forth. I'm just growing more and more in love. AIT finished. I got to go back home. Back home in St. Louis, Missouri. I go back home. We're still writing love letters. One particular Saturday, the mail comes. I opened my 4-page letter. It was a book. And I read it. And my cousin, whose apartment I was at, was on her way over to her mother's house. And when I joined the Army, I joined the Army from her mother's house. Okay, so at this particular time, I didn't want to go. Normally, I would be going, all right? I don't know, I didn't want to go. But I sent my letter with her. I asked her to read it and asked her to give it to her mother to read. Guess that was me coming out. I didn't even know what coming out was back then, but that was me coming out. And then I sat there in her apartment by the phone waiting on, what they had to say. I was waiting on the hoorah me, dog me, whatever was coming. I was sitting there waiting. And that phone call never came. My cousin came back home. She brought the letter. She never said a word. They continued to love me. We went on our business. Nothing was ever said. That was that. somebody coming out was pretty eventless to say. So now I have told my family, and now I'm about to move in with her. She lives in Pemberton, New Jersey. I moved to Pemberton, New Jersey. She's still working at the on the post, but we live off post. Pemberton, New Jersey. So I was young. I was 18 years old. Yeah. I was 18 years old. I didn't know how to cook. No one taught me how to cook. My aunt cooked for us. We didn't need to cook. She took care of us. So I didn't know much about cooking, So I remember I made her some chicken one time, and she made a big old fuss about it. How good the garlic was in it. Guys, I was 18 years old. You like the garlic, you say? Ha! So the next day, when I made spaghetti, I put the whole bottle in there. Oh, I kid you not, guys. I put the whole thing. I just couldn't stop putting it in there. I was just trying to please her. So that we couldn't even eat that. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it was. Oh, now me and my girlfriend, we live in this apartment with another drill sergeant and another private. So life is going great, as I think it is. Things are going great. And then all of a sudden, it's decided we're moving. We're no longer going to be in this apartment, yada. So everybody's moving out. The day before we moved out was July 1st, 1983. And as I recall, there was just packing going on. It was nothing but packing. The music was going on. We had a case of beer there that never got open. So if you guys hang on and come back, next time we talk, I'll tell you what happened on July 2nd, 1983. Today, I was shot. Take care of yourselves.